The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.
As the holiday season rolls in, bringing with it the familiar whirl of shopping lists, twinkling lights, and the hope that Santa makes your holiday wishes come true, there's one toy that stands apart from others on your list. While the hottest toys typically promise flashy fun, this one carries a story that reminds us that sometimes the path forward begins in the past. Since 1986, girls of all ages have pored over its catalog, circling brass beds and wooden school desks, and pondering whether they are more of a Felicity or a Samantha. And despite early skepticism, its founder, Pleasant Rowland, saw something that few others did: a quiet space in the crowded metaphorical toy aisle that wasn't modern or cool, but insightful, educational, and transformative in its ability to immerse its owners and readers into the rich and exciting yesteryear. What began with just 3 dolls has since blossomed into a beloved empire with more than 30 million dolls sold, each one a gateway to a different time in history, each one carrying with it the lessons of the past. And that's why this week's On Brand is on American Girl.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. Want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa. Hi, Jon.
Hey, girl. What's up? Sorry, I was distracted. I was just looking at an email I got.
From whom?
McDonald's. I literally, you've been working here the last half hour getting your show ready, and I've been sitting here waiting patiently because that's what I do. I'm an abundance of patience.
Sure.
And in that time, I got an email from McDonald's, a beloved brand. So the subject matter is McRib for the holidays. Slay. And then there's a picture of a sleigh.
Wow.
So they're trying to be cool, kind of like cool a few years ago.
Yeah, the corporate identity is taking on Gen Z lingo. Really sends me into a tailspin.
I know. It's a lot.
I don't like it.
And then the body, you've got a beautiful, I don't know if we'll end up showing it. It's like the McRib color, like probably a Pantone color of McRib brown. And it says it's back December 3rd. And then it says, 'twas the night before McRib. And then it drops that. There's no more of that.
Oh, my God.
And then it says the McRib is coming back for the holidays with an asterisk, which means I need to go to the bottom of the email and see what the asterisk's for. Available December 3rd at participating McDonald's for a limited time. And then it says, no wonder people are stringing up lights. So that's why people are decorating for the holidays, because of the return of the rib. That we're supposed to be surprised about, even though it comes back every year.
Is this the typical timeline for a McRib return?
Yeah, I honestly don't know when it comes back every year. I'm like mildly happy it comes back. I'm not like a big McRib head.
Okay.
I'll probably have one, unlike the Chicky Biggie, which I had ended up having 4.
Oh,
I think I'm done with it because the 4th one we didn't talk about. I was at a park and I ate it, and there was like a little cartilage in it, and I kind of dipped out after that.
That's a really hard thing to overcome.
Yeah. So one of my rules for the Chicky Biggie is you have to eat it fresh. It's not something I take home. So for that one, I was going to eat it in the McDonald's. I ordered it. I got it. I sat down. I looked around, and it was so depressing in there.
I can't imagine eating a meal in a McDonald's.
It is like It was the worst. And I was like, I got on my phone. I found a park that was a block away, went to a park. Again, not even that nice. Like everything's a little...
In LA, even like a park, you know, like a park with pond and ducks. I mean, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, it's a little rough. But I ate it there. There was a squirrel there. And squirrels, what do? They eat anything.
Yes.
I was tossing him my fries, wouldn't eat them. Like he would look at them, pick them up, throw it back at me, had no interest in the fry.
Wow, what a snob.
Yeah, so
it's like, got any aioli? LA squirrel wants aioli.
Of course they want aioli. Did Martha make this? No.
Wow, so the Chicky BM, are they gone? Are they here? Where are they at?
I'm assuming they're still here. I drove by McDonald's today and there was still a poster up.
This is a fun thing about you. We were at a birthday party last night and about, like, say 3/4 into the party, you know, people are gathering around, they're joking around, they're chatting. We look at John. John's deep into his phone and our friend says, like, what are you looking at? John turns his phone, Jack in the Box menu. So if you go to a birthday party with John, when he starts to lose interest in the party, let's just say he's hitting up the Jack in the Box menu on his phone.
There's something about me that whether I'm at a party...
There's a lot of things about you.
Okay. Well, we're dissecting them.
This is one of the things.
Episode by episode.
Sure.
One of the things about me is no matter where I'm at, I could be at that party last night.
Yeah.
I could be at a movie. I could be at the Adele show. There will be probably 18% of that night where I'm wondering what I'm going to eat after that event. I'm wondering where I'm going to stop, if I need to order it ahead of time. And then I try to focus on Adele. You paid a lot of money for this. Your favorite song. Focus. And then it's like, Arby's may be good tonight.
Oh my God.
And that's what I was doing last night. There was a time in my life where I would have been looking at Grindr or looking to hook up.
Now, did you go to Jack in the Box last night?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Food.
What kind of food?
I mean, we don't have to go
This is kind of the whole point.
Well, I mean, listen.
It's kind of like why we're here.
No,
it's to talk about what you got at Jack in the Box. This is like the whole thing.
Here's why it sucks. Because I told you, what did I tell you I had to do this morning?
Oh, you had a doctor's appointment.
I had a doctor's appointment, and I couldn't remember if it was a fasting appointment. And so I went, and I had to tell the doctor, I was like, look, I know we joke. I don't go on my portal. I haven't.
Have you opened the message from the nutritionist in the portal?
No. I mean, I'm sure I know whatever she says, I'm sure I know it. So I told the doctor, and I was like, listen, I was pretty good yesterday. I just didn't eat dinner, and we went to this party, and I didn't know what kind of food was going to be there. And there was
snacks and stuff,
there was
but not
snacks and cheese and stuff. But I was really hungry. And then so at midnight, I will die. I'm chomping on tacos. I got a small cheeseburger. And then they had a coupon for a free onion ring. So I had all this stuff and immediately fell asleep. It was like, why didn't I just go to bed? So things were looking good.
You made it so close to bedtime.
So
what did the
close.
doctor say? Did you spill your beans or did you lie like usual?
I spilled the beans,
Okay.
and he seemed pretty okay with it. He's a nice guy.
Oh yeah. Do you tell him about the coupon for the onion rings?
Well, no, I didn't tell him exactly what I ate, but I did say, listen, I'm going to be completely honest. At midnight last night, I had a large fast food meal, and pretty much everything was fried. And he's like, it happens.
Listen, it happens. I'm sure you'll probably wave to him in the drive-through line tomorrow.
Of course. He's probably there right now.
He's probably there right now. Speaking of beans, I'm back on my Rancho Gordo beans. I got kicked out of the bean club. I don't know if we've talked about this on pod, but there's an heirloom bean company called Rancho Gordo, and they make these really special fancy beans, dried beans, and you have to be on a wait list for 5 years.
This is one of those jokes. One of my running jokes with anybody is if they're explaining something that they have or did or one in their life, I'm like, I get it. You're rich. This is one of those things where it is really you're in an exclusive bean club.
You're in a bean club, but even the fanciest a pound of beans is $7. And so, I mean, that's cheaper than a Jack in the Box mini cheeseburger, I'm sure.
Absolutely not. But with the coupon for the free onion rings, I think we were at right around $5.
Wow, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Have you heard this news story? It's not enough to be brand news because I don't have all the details, but I watched a local news segment that to respond to the rising fast food costs, places like Chili's, Applebee's are doing really well because they're having slamming deals. And they are pulling away people from the people who are I just went to McDonald's and my meal is $17. They're pulling them back into sit-in dining in chain restaurants. And I'm really happy for Chili's and Applebee's. I found myself feeling really proud, Red Lobster Lobster, they dropped the endless shrimp. They're like focusing on like smaller menu and better, prices, good quality. And I'm like, I'm really happy for them.
I'm happy for them. Yeah, I've seen a few interviews with the Red Lobster guy.
He's like
a
young...
young...
I also seen like several interviews. He's everywhere.
He's out there. He's really doing... He's like, you're going to have a hot biscuit in your hand before you even sit down.
He's like 25. He's like a genius. And he's like changing Red Lobster. We went to Red Lobster and we got a lot of shrimp. We probably told this story on the pod. The amount of shrimp that they force you to take, or they used to like 7 years ago before they neared bankruptcy, was insane. It was like, well, no shit, you're going bankrupt. We left with like 80 more shrimp than we wanted.
We were like, we're satisfied, we're full. She's like, wow, you didn't eat nearly enough shrimp. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys that each out more shrimp.
She bullied us.
She bullied us into more shrimp.
She really did.
I did forget, of course, with my Jack in the Box story, there was a mistake. I ordered my tacos with no lettuce. They had lettuce on it. There's nothing I hate more in the entire world than hot lettuce and fast food iceberg lettuce. So I did take a picture of my receipt saying no lettuce with the taco in the background showing that it had lettuce. Okay. I have not reached out, but I might.
You have it in your file.
I have it in my file in case I decide in the next couple days.
Do you ever get this thing? I'll get this sometimes where if I'm pissed off about something else, I'll kind of like, that I can't do anything about, I'll kind of like channel that frustration into like emailing a company that has wronged me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll hit my head on a lemon. This lemon has been hanging down by my car door and I keep hitting my head on it. It makes me so mad. I'll hit my head on the lemon. I'll step in like cat barf. My kids will be driving me crazy. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call Target and tell them about that thing that they didn't send me.
Every time you bonk your head, you're like, Old Navy, here I come again.
Here I come again.
I know that I've sent this to the same woman 16 times, but I want those shorts.
I should send her another package. And this one's for her, though. And it's like, Merry Christmas.
I implore you to send her a Christmas card that just says, I hope you've enjoyed my shorts for the last 4 months. Happy holidays.
Oh my God, this bitch. I know where she lives. I mean, I could go.
She's not a bitch. You sent them to her.
She lied. She lied to my face.
I hope she is enjoying them. I hope next time you go over, you've waited long enough. She may open the door in the outfit.
She might. I'll hang out outside her house with binoculars.
Do you remember what it looked like, what you ordered?
No, I mean, because an Old Navy purchase, it's so cheap, it's like almost instantly you forget. You know when like a package shows up and you're like, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
And you open it and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, there's been some really weird sales lately. I'm wearing a Levi's shirt. You may have noticed. I've never worn this before. I like getting shirts of things we've already done shows for, or things that we're going to do shows for. This Levi's shirt was on sale on the Levi's website for like $6. It's like a $30 shirt. For some reason, like, it's $6 today. Okay.
Great. Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah, so stuff like that, I almost like forget it as soon as and it's so fast to shop now. Like I got my new computer that has my little touch, my little fingerprint. Though sometimes my hands are so dry, the fingerprint doesn't work.
The only time my fingerprint doesn't work is post-shower. I get a little wrinkly.
You're a bit pruny.
I'm unlike Alistair, who doesn't use any water in the shower. I use lots of water in the shower.
I take really long hot showers too. This is a fun thing about Al, who is also single. I don't know if we've mentioned that. He takes showers. He says they're not cold, but we know that they are. We know they're not hot like yours and mine are hot.
Here's another thing about Al. He's single, if we haven't mentioned that. When he takes a shower, he turns the water on for like 1.5 seconds to get a little like moisture in his hand. Then he turns it off, and then he uses that, rubs it around his body as much as he can.
And then he turns it on very quickly and then rinses off very quickly. And then so he's basically like taking all the pleasure out of a shower.
Yeah.
And he's also single. I don't know if we've mentioned that.
So to make up for what he does, I take a nice long hot shower.
Yeah.
I brush my teeth in the shower.
Same, yeah.
I shave in the shower.
Yeah.
I'll have breakfast in the shower, TikTok.
It's an office.
It's an office.
It's
my morning office.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
So, American Girl, one of my most beloved brands. I had like 10 or 20 of them growing up. Everyone's been wanting to see what's in my storage unit. It is packed with American Girl dolls.
Well, I would say that wouldn't entirely shock me because the American Girl adult fan community is robust.
I'm not a doll boy.
I know you're not a doll boy.
And I was Okay, full disclosure, I did find out what this brand was in advance just because we're recording a little bit late, and it worked in my favor. I didn't do any research. I know nothing about it, but I did make the Insta egg already because I would have only had a day.
Perfect.
Some of the imagery I saw of these American Girl dolls, like the little badge that people got when they guess it right, it looks so evil. It's almost like Chucky. Like if you go real close on it, it's an evil little doll.
Oh, you be careful because the doll boys and girls are going to come after you.
The doll boys. Oh my God, we should do that and go against the dough boys, but we only do episodes on dolls.
Ooh, okay. I'm ready to splinter off into a second, third podcast with the Patreon, which is coming, by the way.
A very niche pod on dolls. You mentioned Sex and the City in your open. I would say that American Girl is very Charlotte. I think you said something about, are you a Samantha or a
Samantha and a Felicity. Samantha is one of the dolls.
Oh, you weren't talking about Sex and the City.
No, but I mean, it's are you this or that, which is kind of like, it's two of the same.
Okay.
But I do have a quiz later to find out which doll you are.
Okay, great.
American Girl was a very influential seminal. Is that how you say that word? It was a seminal brand for me.
Created by semen. Yeah.
A seminal brand. I'll say seminal. It was a seminal brand for me as a child.
I bet it was seminal for someone.
Honestly, I started going I went on one subreddit and then that took me to another thing and it took me to another website. And I was like, I got to get out of here. I'm getting there's grown-ups wearing diapers. I don't want anything to do with it. It's get me away. I like the nice I want to go back to the Ask Jeeves internet where nothing was freaky.
Oh my God.
You'll find a subreddit of a community that is the most insane, frightening obsession, and then you're community of 250,000 people and you're wow, the freaks truly do walk among us.
Yeah. Did you way back it? This seems like it'd be good way back material.
I did way back it. And funnily enough, the first instance of AmericanGirl.com was just someone's personal website.
Oh, wow.
And the way blogs used to look, it was so funny. It was just Comic Sans, the worst graphics. And I was oh, this is a website made by a kid. And then it was my resume. I have a PhD in this. I'm a professor here. I was oh, that's just what everybody's website looked like back then. Everyone used Comic Sans. That was the first American Girl, was a personal blog. And then later it went on. It did have a really cute early 90s, mid 90s internet presence.
What I like about it, and I guess I'll find out if this is true, is you said 1986. So this is coming off of the heels of the Cabbage Patch craze. And it's couldn't be more different.
That's someone was a very important part of the story.
Okay,
yeah.
Someone's I am tired of looking at these potatoes for 4 years. Let's make a sophisticated lady.
Exactly. Someone with a little debonair, little class.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was very classy. And I had a Samantha doll. Ironically, my Samantha is in my mom's storage unit.
Oh, I don't like that.
So I'll pull her out to take some pictures with her.
I love your mom, but I do try to distance myself from being too much like your mom. Because I do see similarities. And
I do have, she did bring over ham to give to you.
Oh, good. I do like that. Every year for Thanksgiving, Bobo buys honey baked ham and chops some off for me.
Yeah, from Honey Baked Ham store. And she always squirrels some away for a little Johnny boy.
It's very sweet.
You guys have a little bit of overlap, and the storage unit is definitely one of them.
Definitely.
So that's where my Samantha is. I fancied myself to be a Samantha. I also really wanted, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but they had the catalogs, and the catalogs was such a big part of it because it was not very common that you get a catalog just for one toy. I can't even think of one other instance except maybe a Nintendo catalog or something.
Yeah.
That you could just spend hours just getting sucked into this world of these quite expensive dolls.
Yeah. I mean, from an outside point of view, it did seem, I don't know when they became on my radar. We have an American Girl doll store here at the Grove. I don't know how long.
Not anymore.
Oh, it's gone?
Not anymore.
I don't know when they started retail. I'll learn all that. But from someone who isn't that into it or anything, it did, from a branding point of view, come off as a very kind of exclusive thing, an expensive product. It was definitely seemed like it had a very specific child it was going after. The
story of it is very interesting because, and we'll get into the history of all of it, but there's nothing else like it really out there.
Yeah.
The catalog, it's not at Toys R Us, it's not on the shelf. And that was all very intentional. It was all very by design. One of the things they had in the catalog was you could get clothes that matched your doll, and they were very expensive. You could spend hundreds of dollars on the bedrooms and the accessories and the birthday outfits and the little tiny cakes.
I mean, that's pretty clever.
And I wanted those so bad.
Yeah.
Imagine, I was kind of a little bit of a a folksy child. I longed for the past as I do now. Even back then, old soul, I've always been told.
Yeah.
And I wanted to roll into second grade dressed like I was from Colonial Williamsburg. And I would have done it with pride. But my family, we couldn't justify the cost. And I have looked on eBay. I'm trying to find them. I'm like, maybe I could fit into like a youth XL with some modifications. There's some people on Etsy who make like remakes of the dolls' clothes. As I'm saying, they're a freaky community. And
Dupes,
that was what I longed for.
That's what that's called in the Taylor universe now, dupes. Like, does anyone make a dupe of the Wonderland blanket or whatever?
There's a lot of dupes going. There's custom clothes going on. There's like a whole thing. It
Still?
Really, yes,
Wow.
even like more so. And I'm noticing that the fan community is now like splintered into like the American Girl brand that's for kids, which is like what it originally was. And it's like they have a new Girl of the Year every year, and they're like a Moana doll, and they have a Wicked doll. They have like all the new
collabs.
They do collabs. It's very much just about like, this is a toy. We're selling a toy. And then there's the millennials like me who have the
OG.
spooky reverence for the brand. And they're like, it's going in the wrong direction. Like, we need to be focusing back on these like original six girls.
Yeah.
These six girls.
Well, having collabs feels off-brand for a brand I don't know much about. I don't feel like that was that was like, how can we survive?
And this is what I can't tell, because I feel like that too. I agree that
like there's like a big 3-foot green American Girl doll.
I agree that I think it's off-brand, and I agree that I don't like it. And I don't know if that's because I'm one of the millennial spookies that like clings to the nostalgia of what I knew.
You're definitely the Charlotte of the group.
I can't tell. It does seem off-brand for me, but I think it's a very important brand, and it's a brand that many freaks have suggested. People are chomping at the bit to hear about the history. And as somebody who is, I would say, on the spectrum of America, I would have said I was a huge fan before, and now I'm seeing like, the people who like have $700 and wear diapers, and I'm like, okay, I'm not like a crazy fan.
Yeah.
I don't know why the diaper's related, but let's just say there's overlap.
Well, I feel like that a lot of the time when people are like, John's crazy or does this, and then I see someone who actually is.
Yeah.
Like when I see a real Swiftie, or I mean, they're in my feed all the time. I'm like, I'm not that.
I think I finally get it.
Yeah.
I think I finally get what you mean. Like, I follow on Instagram, there's an American Girl like catalog Instagram page, and they'll just like repost pictures from like the magazine or the catalog. And I'm like, oh, I like looking at those, or I like, getting the glimpses from the past. But I'm not like, I don't have a doll room.
Right.
I don't have a doll room.
Yeah.
My Samantha's in storage. Like, how can I? I'm not a doll girl.
Are you ever able, like, are there ever times when you're laying in bed where you can't sleep, worried that she's not happy in that storage unit?
Honestly, hearing my mom say that, I thought she was in the top of her closet, and then I heard that she was in the storage unit. I was like, okay. There's a lot of stuff in your house that I think could be in the storage unit. She's like 1 foot by 3 feet, like box. Like,
every time you leave the storage unit, you just hear a little.
It's funny to think about something that was so coveted as a child.
Yeah.
Like, think about like whatever toy that you begged for, and then now it's just like, I mean, it's not in the trash, it's in a storage unit, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny. Did you have something like that as a kid that you begged for, and now you're thinking of it just like in a garbage bag in an attic somewhere?
I don't really remember having that. You know, what it's making me remember, and I'll probably cry, is like, it's making me think of my mom. And I know we've told the story about how she would make me the Izod shirts with the little alligators, but she did that for my sisters too. Like, Care Bears were really popular, and she would go to like a Joann's, and you could buy like a Care Bear pattern, which wasn't even detailed. It was like a printed picture of a Care Bear, and she basically just made like a pillow.
Aww.
But like, that would be the gift. And like, looking back, that's just so sweet.
It's
like,
so sweet.
She wasn't at Kmart like punching grandma to get something. Like, she
So where did you come from?
Well, listen, she was also crazy. Like, I think I can't remember if I mentioned this on a pod or not, but she would send me into department stores to ask for perfume samples because back then they came in little glass vials. She sent me into cigar shops to get any empty wooden cigar boxes. She taught me both paths.
Yes. You have the sentimental, you have the human spirit, you have the sweetness, and then you also have the
crazy.
Get in there, Johnny, and get whatever you can get. Get what you can get. I love that. I love that. Yeah. So it's a special brand, and I hope I do it justice for all the fans out there. And as always, I want to hear if I didn't touch on something, or I want to hear from you guys, because this is something that was requested.
Yeah, we'll have to give a shout out. And I know we joke about the Patreon. It will happen. If we do miss things that you guys are like, oh, did you know this? Like, those are things we'll be able to expand upon. And you know what's actually funny now? I do not make any of my brand picks based on the freaks. Like, I mean, if they give me a good idea, sure, I'll do it. But I'm never not going to do something because I'm like, well, the freaks like it. Something like this, I do wonder, because we do have so many Doughboy fans that have started listening to our show. Like some of those like guys who are like when they see the list and like American Girl, like I'm like, will they click on it? Like, are they like, I mean, I'm sure they will, but it's just funny.
I wondered that too, but then I'm thinking, well, it has such a strong cultural significance for women of a certain age, 21 like me.
I thought you were 39.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
8?
I'm not 39.
Wait,
I'm 38.
I thought we had your 40th last year.
Babe, I'm going to kill you.
Let's go.
Pleasant Rowland. She was born in Chicago on March 8th, 1941. Her father was Edward M. Thiel, a Chicago advertising executive who was president of the Leo Burnett ad agency. And this was some of their work. I love when our worlds kind of intertwine. So this is her dad. Pillsbury Doughboy. What? Heard of him? Poppin' Fresh.
Her dad is Pillsbury Doughboy?
He was the president of the ad agency. He was an ad executive that made Pillsbury Doughboy. This is while he was there. Pillsbury Doughboy. Charlie the Tuna for Starkist Tuna.
Okay.
This is huge.
They're
Spokesfish, the biggest spokesfish we know.
This does seem like this is all already starting to make sense. She's got ad money.
She's got ad money. The Jolly Green Giant and Sprout.
I've been wanting to do something with them.
It's huge. I can't believe we don't talk about it once a day.
I'm claiming that. I'll put that on my list. We have lists, and the other person can't do them once they're on our list, even though I know Al completely forgets everything that's on my list.
And I don't think you've been telling him your list lately.
Not for a very long time.
Morris the Cat for 9 Lives Cat Food.
This one guy?
His ad agency, that he was an ad executive. He worked his way up, and then he became president of this ad agency. And during this time, this is what he did. The Marlboro Man.
Ooh, that is cool, but a Hazinga on humanity.
We don't want to support smoking, but as a brand, it is interesting because Marlboros, am I saying that right? Marlboro. I'm not a smoker.
I'm an ex-smoker.
Marlboro's filtered cigarettes used to be considered like feminine, and he created this whole thing, the Marlboro Man, the American frontier, that this is like a cowboy cigarette. Marlboros used to be like for like housewives.
If I remember correctly, I think on Times Square, there used to be like a Marlboro Man advertisement that puffed smoke.
Yes, like circles of smoke, right?
Very cool.
See, we like branding.
We do. LA on Sunset Strip used to. I remember when they were like, we're taking down the Marlboro Man, because he was like what you would see on Sunset Boulevard as you were going into the strip.
Yeah. 10-year-olds are walking to school, seeing a Marlboro Man, dreaming of smoking as soon as they turn 18.
Collecting camel cash, buying bikes.
Buying a foldable bike, throwing it in their unit for years to come. So it's possible that branding is in Pleasant's blood. By the way, Pleasant, it was also her mom's name. Pleasant, what a name.
Great name. I was going to comment on it, but I feel like I'm talking too much.
Pleasant. So Pleasant grew up in a Chicago suburb. She graduated from Wells College in 1962. She taught second grade. She worked as a reporter. She transitioned to educational publishing, where she developed this like learning to read program that she was put in schools. And then at age 45, she's maybe getting the itch to try something new. 45. I mean, this is like that's pretty advanced. This is like Julia Child territory for like a new beginning, which we love.
I love a new beginning story. I'm sure I've told it before. My favorite professor in college, my photography professor, had photographs in galleries around the country, never picked up a camera until she was 50. So if you're at home and you're like, I'm too old, I can't do it. Yes, you can.
Yes, you
Unless
can.
you're 51,
If you're
and then
51,
you should probably pack it up.
It's over. Pack it up.
Pack it up. But if you're 50, you still have a chance.
If you're 45, you're a youngin'. You got lots of time. So perhaps she's getting the itch to try something new. Let me set the scene for you.
Okay.
A horse and buggy clip-clop down a cobblestone road. Perhaps a blacksmith's hammer rings through the air. Perhaps there's a rustle of a woman's petticoats as they swish as they walk. But this isn't the 18th century. The year is 1984. Perhaps When Doves Cry is seeping out of a nearby Walkman. We are in Colonial Williamsburg. Pleasant Rowland's husband had a conference in Colonial Williamsburg, invited her to come along. She agrees. She's expecting, a few days of a little R&R, picturesque. I've never been. After doing this research, it sounds phenomenal. I would love to go. She's wandering the cobblestone streets of Williamsburg. She finds herself getting swept up in something far deeper than she had ever anticipated. Pleasant watches the actors in period costumes, every stitch and seam painstakingly authentic. As they go about their daily chores, they're spinning wool, they're grinding grain, they're lighting the hearth. And Pleasant is marveling at every sight and sound. She whispers aloud to her husband. I imagine, this isn't accurate, but I imagine that her husband is like an unsupportive buffoon.
Here, can I say what I think she's going to whisper?
Yeah.
I wish they were all dolls. Why can't you all be dolls?
She might have thought that, but she didn't say it.
Okay.
She says to her husband, who's slurping down some prime rib, something about this place. History, it feels real, not like the dry facts in a textbook, but as something that had once lived, breathed, and existed. Her husband licks his chops and nods in limp agreement. Pleasant wanders to sit on a church pew, the very one where George Washington had sat, when she feels a strange sensation. She could almost imagine Patrick Henry speaking to the crowd, his fiery words igniting the American Revolution.
Give me liberty, or give me death.
She turns to her husband, suddenly grabbing his knee. Do you feel that too? She yelped. He shrugs and burps. History is not a subject taught in classrooms. It's an experience, something that can be touched and felt. It's alive. Pleasant bursts from her seat and out of the church, her mind buzzing with excitement. She sees children running through the streets in their historical costumes, and for the first time it hit her. Why didn't every child get to experience history this way? Why were they trapped in classrooms, memorizing dates and names, when they could be living it? Her husband followed behind her, farting with each step. She turned to him. Could there be a way to bring this experience to children? Could I create a world that wasn't just about learning history, but about living it? A way to immerse young girls in the past the way Williamsburg had immersed me. Babe, you have no formal business training. Leave the big ideas to me, the man of the house. Pleasant sighs, but the idea doesn't leave her mind. Again, we take some creative liberties with this.
No, absolutely.
So that's we're assuming where the spark started.
I was hoping he was going to say, now why don't you just go home and play with your dollies?
That would have been good. That will be in the movie.
Yeah.
Matt can play him.
Yeah.
We'll age him up, put him in a fat suit.
Oh, no, Matt's playing a doll.
Matt is a doll.
Matt is the first doll.
Like the boy?
He's Samantha. That's what he gets an Oscar for.
He could do it. He has range. Then Christmas comes, and Pleasant pushes through the crowds at the toy store. She's determined to buy dolls for her two nieces who are 8 and 10. She scans the shelves, spying the object of the little girl's affections. Cabbage Patch doll, ugh, they're hideous, she says. And Barbie, ugh, forget about it. Was this really the best her generation could offer the next? And then as she was thinking this, a spark of an idea began to form. Toys, dolls, girls, Colonial Williamsburg, American history. She sat in the middle of the store. A shopper stepped over her to grab a G.I. Joe. What if these dolls had backstories rooted in history? What if there were books to go along with them, stories about young girls living in different times, navigating the challenges and joys of their own eras? Pleasant raced back home and wrote a postcard to her closest friend. This part is true. Also, they had phones.
Yeah, why a postcard?
She's an old-fashioned gal after my own heart.
A 5-cent stamp.
I'm going to start sending you postcards. I'm going to be like, John, can we record the pod?
It's so funny you say
7
that. I was at Amoeba Records, I think, in the last 2 days, and they had a cute, writing you from Hollywood postcard.
Cute.
$2.
Oh, my God.
I'm not spending $2. I was like, I'll buy a stack of these and send them out. $2.
I think that's a 50 center.
That's a 50 center. Or $5 for $2.
Or it's like a loss leader. It's like a Costco chicken. It's like you're promoting Amoeba. You're passing it around. Those should be free, actually. I take it back. They should be free. Mm-hmm. They should be free. So she writes a postcard to her dearest friend who's a children's book author. And she says, what do you think of this idea? A series of books about 9-year-old girls growing up in different times in history with a doll for each of the characters and historically inspired clothes and accessories with which the girls could play out the stories.
The sentence ends in the middle of a sentence, and then she writes over in
with a little arrow.
and then they have to go around. I love that.
I love a little to be continued with a little arrow on the back.
It was the best.
So cute. She wanted to create a miniature version of the Colonial Williamsburg experience and take it to American girls using the very playthings, books, and dolls that girls have always loved. Wow. So that's the spark. That's the very beginning of it. And then she spent the next weekend writing out her plan, which included the first 3 characters, the product line, the series of books, the matching girls' clothing, the retail store concept, and even the idea for a musical. This is in one weekend.
Wow.
Wow, that is prolific.
That was after she sent the postcard, before she even heard back from her friend.
I mean, her friend was like, yeah, sure, try it.
Her friend's like
go
sounds
for it.
great. Why don't you call me? Here's my phone number in case you've lost it.
It was 6 days later. I mean, we've talked about this before. How does any mail get where it's going?
I mean, it's up to like 89 cents, but I'm still like, I'm throwing this. It's like I'm basically throwing this in the yard and it ends up in New York.
It's like a bottle in the ocean. It is a miracle every time you get a letter.
Yeah.
Every time a piece of mail goes to its intended recipient, honestly, thank the heavens, because a miracle has occurred.
Yeah. Have you ever sent a non-traditional piece of mail? Did you
like
know
a banana? I think you can mail like a potato. Legally, they have to take it. You don't believe me?
No, I do. It was on Shark Tank.
Mailing a potato?
Yeah. But they put the
What's
potato
the
in
business?
a box. They would print, I think, some like a thing on the potato. It was like potatogram.
Did who? Let me guess. Lori?
Lori.
Oh, that has QVC written all
I don't
over
remember
it.
who bought it, but I do think it became a thing for a while.
I'm seeking $700,000 for 5% stake in my company, potato mail, and leaving without a deal. You know what the sharks? They just don't understand the worth, and they'll be laughing.
I love it when the sharks someone would give them a really great idea. They're like, I don't see the vision for it. Next. And like they kick them out. And then someone's like, potato mail. They're like, I will buy your entire company for $4 million.
It's just whatever mood they're in.
It's whatever mood they're in.
And I don't like that they'll like give you an offer and then they'll be like 3, 2, 1, decide now. It's like, oh my God, is that how it works in like the real world? No, you can take a half a day to think about it.
It's taken them 2 years to get this point. Like, quit trying to make good TV and make a good deal.
I agree. I think the show should be slow, unedited, boring. Take over the course of 72 hours. They have to decide if they take the deal. I agree.
Shot in real time, cameras, like night cams.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No lights, no set. It's in a conference room.
Yeah, we should talk to them.
Perfect. So Pleasant, she knows nothing about the toy business. I mean, she was a teacher. She was like a reading program author. She didn't even have a model of a doll to go off of.
Her husband did try to tell her.
Yeah,
Al.
That's a good point. Her husband did try to tell her she does not have a head for
That
business.
slob holding her back.
Now, your story did have a lot of hate for this man. Was any of that like stuff that you read, or I feel like you hate men?
You know what? He was really rich. I saw a picture of him. He was really rich.
Rich doesn't equal bad.
And I know, but I was just kind of like painting a picture. You know, I think because we haven't had a lot of stories with like female-owned brands, and I'm just imagining her. You know, she was a school teacher. She said that was kind of one of the few jobs that was acceptable at the time as she was growing up. Was you would be like a nurse or a teacher. She always wanted to be a boss. I'm just imagining her husband's a little threatened by her, and you know, he's a slob.
Slurping,
he's
sirloin.
farting, he's burping.
Yeah, you really painted a picture with him.
Well, you know, you have to add a little drama. The movie will definitely take that even further.
Yeah, that'll be like a Stanley Tucci.
Definitely. Tucci will crush it.
Tucci will crush that.
Got to get Tucci in there. So she didn't even have, her and her husband had no children. So she literally didn't even have a doll to like model off of, like to practice on.
She doesn't
practice
seem like...
on. She didn't even have a doll to practice on.
So let me guess. She had some foam. She had like a tree trunk. Can she carve something? What'd she do?
Even funnier, it's funny, like you'll read something like the postcard thing and you're like, yeah, that tracks. And you say it out loud. You're like, that is weird. She sent a friend to Chicago to find a doll.
Oh.
By the end of the second day, why did it take 2 days to find a doll?
Babe, it's the 80s. Things were hard.
She found one. Her friend found one. This is like when you sent your friend in Times Square to buy your Swatch in New York.
Jordan. Oh my God. I still owe him, man. Can you imagine that? It's like it's like anytime I end up anywhere like a 3rd Street Promenade or Disneyland, I'm like, if someone sent me here just for an errand, that's insane. So Jordan, I will never forget you going to Times Square to get me a 7-foot Swatch, the last one available in the country, and ship it to me in California.
So it was kind of that situation between Pleasant and her friend. She says, do you mind going to Chicago and tracking down a doll? And 2 days later, her friend finds one at Marshall Field, which became Macy's, an upscale department store. Down in the storeroom, covered with dust, the one last doll with 2 crossed eyes.
What are you talking about?
This
was written in her biography?
This is canon. Like, this is from Pleasant's mouth.
There was one doll left in the city of Chicago.
Yes.
There was a cross-eyed doll in the basement of a department store.
It was covered with dust down in the storeroom. Nobody had paid any attention to this doll because it had crossed eyes. The sales clerk, actually, this is where it gets kind of scary. The sales clerk had no idea where it had come from.
Wow.
It's a bit of an Annabelle.
Yeah, that does seem a little Annabelle-y.
If a doll just shows up and it has crossed eyes and is covered in dust, it ain't coming home with me.
It'll make you an empire.
So the sales clerk didn't know where it came from. They undressed the doll. They wanted to see where it was made. Sewn inside the underpants was a label that said, Gotz Puppenfabrik, Rodenthal, West Germany.
So they have a cross-eyed. Does the poop? Is it a doll that goes to the bathroom, or is that just
That's
German
just the name
word?
of the German company.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they get this cross-eyed doll, and they're
yes.
like, we got to strip this thing and see
down.
what we're working with here. So now we've got two crazy women, what seems like a cool husband who's enjoying a steak, and they're like, have a naked cross-eyed doll.
And he's wondering why his dinner's not on the table at 5 p.m. like he was promised, as these two mad women tear into a doll to look at his underwear.
He walks in and he's like, Pleasant, could I... Never mind. I'll take care of it.
And the next thing he knows, she's in Germany picking out fabrics and ribbons and clothes for the American Girl dolls.
Because this one dusty doll had everything that she had been looking for, that she decided to leave the country.
This was pre-internet. This is the only way you could find a doll manufacturer, was you had to like read the stamp on the butt of a doll. That was the only way you could find out where to get your dolls made.
I mean, okay.
Right? I mean, could you think of a better way?
I'm on board.
I don't know how anything happened pre-internet. I don't know how Civil War costumes got made. Costumes.
This is like a 10-part Netflix. This is not a movie. This is a series.
We need 80 minutes on just this dusty doll. So the dolls then start getting made in Germany. The books are in their own office, and then they found vendors in China to make little miniature accessories. The goal was to be on the market for Christmas of 1986. Christmas 1986. Oh.
What is under the
God.
tree?
Oh.
What is under that tree?
Well, it's My Little Pony. It's G.I. Joe. It's Rainbow Bright.
Strawberry shortcake. Maybe for a rich person, a Sony Walkman.
Maybe. God, you'd be lucky. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
She hired a marketing manager. She recommended that they do some focus groups because this product is so novel. It's so like unlike any other toy. It's very much not a My Little Pony, not a Rainbow Bright.
Did these early incarnations look kind of what they ended up being? Is it like they're like 3 feet, right?
No, they're like 8 to 18 inches.
Oh, I thought they were 3 feet.
3 feet.
I really did think they were 3 feet.
3 feet.
I thought they were 3 feet.
Why do you think they would be 3 feet? Because the price is so high, you're like, well, it must be 3 feet.
Yeah, I thought that was per foot. It's like $15 per foot.
Oh, it's even more than that, honey. Oh. So they did some focus groups to try to see, well, what does the market say about these American Girl dolls? So it had never crossed her mind before, but she says, you know what, let's give it a try. So they're sitting in the room with the glass and they're watching all these moms come in to hear about the dolls. First, they're just hearing about it. And they thought it was the worst idea they've ever heard. They absolutely do not understand why anybody would want a little Colonial Williamsburg doll with a book and a little butter churn. Not interested. Pleasant starts to get really nervous. She gets devastated and terrified, and it never really entered her mind that it's possible the idea could fail. And then during the second half of the focus group, the leader brought out the doll, like a sample of the doll with the book and the little accessories. And the moms in the group completely did a 180. It was like they had to see it to get it, to believe it. And
well, of course you have to see it. They're trying to sell it without seeing it.
Well, just on concept alone. And marketing and branding is in her blood. She said this crystallized a very important lesson to her. Success is not in the concept. It is in the execution. And this is what is so exhausting for an entrepreneur. These are her words. If you have a strong vision, this is like us with a podcast. Incredibly detailed. You can't let any piece of its execution go. That's why our pod is the best in the biz.
I think you could sum it up like this. Proof is in the pudding.
Proof is in the pudding.
That's the series title.
The series title of the American Girl story is Proof is in the Pudding.
Proof is in the pudding.
I love it. Everything has to be a 10. So she knew there was magic in the concept, but it had to be so good. Across the board, it had to be good. Like the quality, every detail of the clothing had to be good. The stories had to be so good that the reader would identify and fall in love with the character. If she loved the character, she'd want the doll. If she'd had the doll, she'd want the accessories. And the quality of everything had to be so immaculate, so detail-oriented, so historically accurate. And it had to be right down to the tiniest detail. So as I mentioned, her dad came up with Pop and Fresh, probably. I mean, he was at the company. He was an advertising executive. She saw her father bring home these pitch decks for these big companies like Pillsbury and Campbell's. And her dad told her that great advertising is executed in the details. And this was something that she took to heart. So she very carefully, painstakingly carefully thought every detail through of the product launch. A few things made this very unique at the time. These 18-inch dolls, not 3 feet, they're not sold in toy stores.
Oh.
It is exclusively mail order catalog.
Right.
Because this is a doll, like we were saying, it's not the splashiest thing to compete with the My Little Pony on the Toys R Us shelf.
Right.
So that's not really where it's going to shine.
Right.
And even a commercial is like, are you really even going to really get in a commercial? She wanted direct mail to where A kid could spend like 30 minutes immersed in the world. And Land's End was right up the road from Pleasant Company, which was the name of her company at the time. And they were kind of advising her on this. And they said, this will never work. Nobody wants this.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody supported it. Nobody thought this was a good idea. The second thing that made this different, they were heirloom pieces. And they were sold at a very high price point. $80 or $230 today.
Wow.
Which was extremely high.
That is very expensive. That is a luxury item.
It's a luxury item. And the Land's End folks, they said customers will not pay more than $40 for a doll. And she said, okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. It's all like, trust me here, guys. It's like when we're selling Al on the concept. He's like, a podcast about brands. Who wants that? We're like, Al, everything will be perfect.
Remember,
he struck us.
Me.
They're
He's
not gonna...
single, by the way.
And he is single, and he takes really weird bad showers. They're not going to be glamorous like Barbie. They're not going to wear rollerblades and exercise
Wet their
clothes.
Panties. Oh.
Definitely not.
Some girls like that. They like their dolls.
Bleep that.
That was like on the Brady Bunch. She had a doll that wet her panties.
Barbie's like a woman.
I hate the word panties so much.
I know. I hate everything about what you're
She's
saying.
just like a grown woman, like peeing herself.
Well, according to the American Girl community, that's quite common.
Oh, boy.
So instead of these statuesque kind of Barbie physique, they're going to have what she describes as sturdy, childlike bodies. And then a lot of thick, glossy hair that the girls can style.
Instead of having those like high heel feet, they're going to have flat feet.
They have very flat feet, even flatter than a regular foot. In fact, the toe is higher than the heel. That's how much like Barbie they aren't.
I'll give you whatever you're asking for this.
Toy makers said you can't sell dolls, you can't target dolls to 9 to 12-year-olds because they believe that girls stopped playing with dolls around 6 years of age. So they're like across the board, everything. They think it is Hazinga City. And we had somebody say, I don't know what Hazinga is. You never explained it.
Oh, yeah.
Go listen to Blockbuster. That's all we'll say.
Yeah, it's all explained in Blockbuster.
They think it's Hazinga City. Even the list management company that she hired for her catalog mailers, they said, only send 100,000. She says, no, 500,000. I won't do one less than 500,000. So they had to take their shot. It's Christmas is coming up. American Girl, they're going to go full hog. Is that a saying? Full hog. And they're going to see, is it going to succeed or fail? So they mailed 500,000 catalogs and they sat and crossed their fingers. So the time periods were very well researched.
Yeah, what's this book like? Is it like a pamphlet?
No, it's not like a pamphlet. It's a book. It's fiction. It's historical fiction. The first 3 dolls are Samantha Parkington, a mischievous orphan growing up in 1904. Kirsten Larson, a hardworking pioneer and Swedish immigrant from 1854. And Molly McIntyre, a spunky girl living through World War II in 1944.
I love it. So the book, is it just describing that time period, or is it literally like, and then Samantha went down a dark alley and killed a guy?
It's exactly like that. It's very well-researched historical fiction that at the time they thought like, well, are kids even going to like this? It was kind of like when you don't give kids enough credit and you try to like dumb things down for them. She's like, no, kids are smart. They can handle it. And it would touch on like maybe things that they didn't think kids would be interested or could handle emotionally. Like it was kind of like some intense stuff about history. Like, for example, Samantha Parkington, one of her books was about, she won an award for a paper she wrote about the labor class in 1904. And then she found out her best friend was like working in a factory. So it was like kind of this like class stuff, or like Addie, one of the dolls who came out later, was enslaved on her way to becoming free. Like it's intense stuff, and it's extremely well researched and extremely accurate.
Wow.
And I mean, to her credit, she's putting a lot of effort into making sure that everything is historically accurate. And her way that she would describe this, she says, the dolls and books are windows and mirrors for young girls. So a doll could be a mirror showing a girl what she sees in a character that she sees in herself. Like they look the same, or they have a similar personality, or maybe they have the same like challenges at school. Or it could be a window for a little girl, allowing her to maybe consider how somebody else lives, somebody that's completely different from how she grew up, from where she's from, where she was raised, a window into someone else's life.
I've never heard that. I love that.
I actually thought, I was like, John's going to love a window in a mirror.
I love a window in a mirror. That is so profound.
Isn't that really beautiful?
So you get one free book. Could you buy more books?
Yeah, they were like series of books. And I had a ton of them. I mean, I love them. I still have them there in my mom's house right now.
Were you a reader? I was a reader as a kid. I loved to read.
Yes, same, yeah. And this was big for me. I really fantasized. I had Samantha. She was the mischievous orphan. I had a lot of orphan fantasy as a child. I fantasized about like being an orphan and living in boarding school and like kind of like woefully looking out a window on a rainy day in Europe.
Wow. I don't know why this just made me think of this. Last night I had a dream I was pregnant and
my God.
OBGYN was Martha Stewart's daughter. And for some reason during my exam, Martha Stewart was visiting the hospital.
Okay.
That's all I remember.
Okay, that feels like we could spend an hour on that.
Okay, let's do it. So anyway, in the dream, so I had just eaten a hamburger, 2 tacos, and onion rings.
Maybe that's actually why you had weird dreams.
I know, I didn't even think of that until I just said that.
Definitely related.
Yeah.
So as we said, it's fall of 1986. She has put so far nearly $1 million. This was all of the money she earned from all of her royalties, from all of her like educational reading books that she had created. So she's over like $1 million into this investment. And now they are waiting by the phone in a broken down warehouse with a 1 freight elevator in Madison, Wisconsin to see if the gamble has paid off.
She's just standing by a mailbox waiting for a postcard to be delivered, whether it's a success or a fail.
All orders are also received by mail. I mean, it was probably close to like that. Between September and December 1986, American Girl sold $1.7 million worth of product.
Insane.
The phones rang incessantly, and the workers had to cobble together extra packing stations from plywood and old doors. They had to wear mittens because the warehouse was so old that the heat would cut off. They ran out of
wear gloves.
No,
Did she find a way to make everything just a little hard?
She's a woman from another time. Like
mittens,
me.
Like give gloves.
She said mittens. It's canon. It's mittens. They ran out of little bedspreads, like for the beds that they were selling. So they had to like stay all night sewing little bedspreads, like to put in their packages. The second year, the company did even better with $7.6 million in product, and sales continued to rise year after year. The toys were a hit. Rowland had proven that what she wanted for her nieces and for all little girls was something that the market needed, that it had value. She said for all the money the company made subsequently, she told Fortune Small Business, none of it was as fun or rewarding as that first $1 million. I wonder if that will be true for us.
Oh my God.
Do you think our first million will be the most fun of all of our millions? Do you think that will be our favorite million? Or do you think the second and the third million will also be pretty fun?
I feel like I'll only get $1 million if like inflation changes so much where like $1 million just isn't that much.
It's like you buy a Kit Kat for $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. I got to say also just on off topic, this same time period, literally September to Christmas of 1986, peak swatch for me.
Oh,
like,
wow.
All my favorite swatches are coming out during that same time period.
Which ones?
Oh my gosh, you've got Cosmic Encounter, you've got Osiris, you've got, I think McGregor came out that year. I think that might have been the first year that they had the Limelight for Christmas, which was the first plastic swatch that had a real diamond in it.
Oh my God.
It was $100. I mean, it was a teeny tiny diamond, but it was $100, and I have one now.
Where are they?
All my swatches are just in a box.
But you have to show people your swatches.
Yeah, I wear them on the show sometimes.
Yeah, we got to see like the full collection. People like that. That's Patreon.
But what a fun time that is, man.
I
Girls
know.
are getting their dolls, boys are getting their, I guess girls wear swatches too, but it's like, I love that.
Isn't it so fun just imagining like
Consumerism
in 1986, shopping in 1986. So this is very exciting for her. Her husband, of course, is livid because he doesn't need the money. He comes from a very rich family. He was already very successful. He probably didn't want her to work. But we'll say that for the screenplay.
Yeah.
The money allowed Pleasant Company to expand and move to a brand new space 10 minutes outside of Madison. Rowland remained focused on the fledgling enterprise despite being diagnosed with breast cancer in the company's 3rd year.
No.
She cut the ribbon on the new warehouse in the morning and went into the hospital that afternoon to have surgery. She said it was a large tumor. She had a poor prognosis, but throughout the chemotherapy and radiation, she never missed a day of work. And that is probably what saved her. She's fine now. She's still alive.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's alive. Pleasant Company, it was just on such a roll. She says, I loved what I was doing. And after all, my mind didn't have cancer. I just got through it. So I think that's really beautiful. You know, she was able to channel, it's like she was able to show up in such a positive way for this company that is paying off so well, this gamble, and it's taking her mind off of this dark time she's going through.
Yeah.
So Rowland's concept was perfectly positioned to appeal to parents of the late 1980s. So this is why we think it kind of succeeded. The dolls triggered nostalgia for supposedly simpler times. The books had very wholesome stories, and accessories inspired little girls to reenact a variety of activities shown in the books, like little tea sets, writing on a school slate, playing with their own tiny dolls. So I think for the parents, it was kind of like, felt like a wholesome, clean, it's not like a risque toy, it's not violent. So parents were really willing to fork over the higher price point. It was probably something that they thought was like an investment that they would keep its value, which ironically of all the toys in the 80s, this one has.
Right. It's a status symbol at that point.
It's a status symbol, absolutely.
I'm picturing the moms all have like an Argyle sweater with like a collared shirt underneath, or like a shoulder padded blouse.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Samantha, the doll that I said that I had, that's my favorite and is in a storage unit somewhere. I'll tell a little bit about her. So Rowland signed and numbered the first Samantha doll in her own handwriting. And then in July 2021, all 6 of the original dolls signed by Rowland were auctioned off. And the Samantha doll sold for $14,000.
Wow.
Twice the pre-auction estimate. I think that's really special. And I should have bought it. So as I said, it was really important to her that all of these dolls, it wasn't just like a plaything. It was something that had like a message, and it would be educational, but not feel. She's called it chocolate with vitamins. So it's like you're learning, but to a kid's mind, they're not like doing like extra schoolwork. It's just something that they're playing. So as I said, there were 6 dolls later, so a few more dolls were added. We had Felicity join in 1991. She was a girl who loves horses and lived through the American Revolution. If you're a Felicity listener, give a little beep beep on your horn, swerve into traffic a little bit. So all the dolls have different eras and towns in American history. So Felicity is the American Revolution. She's feisty. She's red-haired. She lives in the fields and streets of Williamsburg. And because Williamsburg was where she got her inspiration, she had like a board of like Williamsburg people to like help her make it accurate. So now by 1991, sales have reached 50 million. The company began preparing for the launch of its first non-white historical doll, as I mentioned, Addie Walker. So Addie was African-American, and like the previous dolls, it required years of research before the doll was ready to be released. The head of her company, it was predominantly white employees, but Rowland, this is how seriously she takes like making it historically accurate. She assembled an advisory board of historians, educators, museum directors to help develop a doll. Like, who would do that? There's so much money being invested in that like what you're paying for, I mean, it's not just all profit. It's like being reinvested in the company.
Right.
One of the board members of the Addie doll team, Lonnie Bunch, would go on to lead the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture.
Wow.
So she's got like a real crew.
Right.
It's not just like you and me bozos in there being like, maybe she should have a purple dress.
Whoa. You mean you, bozo? I would be great on a doll board.
I thought you weren't a doll boy.
I've turned down being on a doll board.
I'm sure the phone is ringing off the hook. The postcards are ringing off the hook.
Flying in.
Your mailbox is positively stuffed, which reminds me, when was the last time you've gotten your mail? Because you're an infrequent mail checker.
Good question. That could be a new segment, like 2 days ago.
What was in there? Anything exciting?
I only got it because I got a pop-up that my signed Wicked CD had been delivered, and it wasn't on my porch, so I went and checked the mailbox, and it was in there.
Are you getting swept up in like Wicked paraphernalia? Do you have like a Wicked Stanley? Do you have like a Wicked?
I've got none of it, but I happened to be around when they dropped the signed Wicked vinyls and CDs, and I grabbed a CD, and I do love it. It's signed by both of the main cast.
Okay, good for you. Good for you.
Wait, that felt condescending.
I'm good for you that you haven't like gotten sucked in.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is like Wicked is like, I swear you walk into like a Ralph's and the Ralph's is like Wicked pop chips. It's like, what is happening with the Wicked?
A lot of Wicked out there. But I hear it's great. I do want to see it.
So as I said, we had Addie Walker, we have Josefina Montoya, and we have Felicity Merriman, which rounds out the first 6 of the historical dolls. And so I'm sure there's some listener who is grinning ear to ear hearing their doll's name, because it was intense to try to figure out. I like would go back and forth. I'd be like, God, I do want to live on a farm, so maybe I'm a Felicity, but I also want to be an orphan, so maybe I'm a Samantha. It's tough.
So like many people could have Felicities. That is the difference between, obviously, besides from the physical differences of Cabbage Patch. Cabbage Patch was, and like, they were just given like quirky names.
Yes.
Like you weren't like, I'm a whatever.
Yeah, what made that Cabbage Patch different? There was like all unique, like eye color, hair color.
They came with adoption papers. Yeah, like I feel like you got an assortment of combinations, because it could be a whatever shape head, whatever, how the hair is styled, the color of the hair, the eyes, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that would actually come later when they started doing a line where you could like customize a doll to like look like you. That was from, I think, 1996. So you could like in the catalog, it even had a picture where it was like all the different like skin colors, eye colors, hair colors. And it's like, now you're a part of history and you could pick your own custom doll, which is really
Great
cute.
branding for this place.
And so while obviously the company is continuing to grow, it's getting more profitable, some people are lamenting the decrease of the focus on the historical dolls, of which I am embarrassed to say I might be in that party.
I'm searching the Reddits tonight to see if you have posted on there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am like, well, she's got a point, because that was like, it wasn't just about seeing yourself and everything. You know what I mean? It was like, show me somebody's life that's like lived in another time, and I can maybe find like, oh, wow, I wouldn't expect that I would be able to relate to this person who lived 100 years prior. And now they're like spanning like even further in time, even further experiences, the historical collection. I just think that's like more what it was about to me. I mean, even now I'm like looked on the website, I like tried to find the books. The books are not even any of the like headers or the drop down menus. The books are like cast off. Because now we're getting like, okay, this is when the big shift happens.
Wait, before we get to that, just real quick, I just want to solidify where you stand. You're mad that they now come in wheelchairs and are inclusive.
I'm on record saying I don't think the dolls should have wheelchairs. I think they should only be in the 1800s. No, I'm okay they have wheelchairs.
Oh, okay.
But the historical dolls, to me, that is very significant. And I wouldn't be a millennial if I felt any other way. So by 1998...
Before you go on, just one more thing.
Sure.
I would like to throw out there for Pleasant an idea of releasing the origin story cross-eyed doll as a collector's item. Oh, there, that's it.
Honestly, it's probably in the archives. It must be there. She must have it. So by 1998, she's been running the company for over a decade. She's led several product expansions. She's opened the flagship American Girl Play store in Chicago. She has created a musical based on the historical characters' adventures called American Girl Review. There's clips on YouTube. It's very a humble little musical, but it's technically a musical.
Her husband's in the front row just pissed off.
Sucking on a hot dog.
He's happy that it's failing.
Everything she had dreamed up in that one weekend, literally like that one weekend from Colonial Williamsburg, has been fully realized, like beyond her wildest dreams. She says, finally, my vision was complete. My original business plan had been executed, and I was tired. It was time to sell the company. Ironically, she selected major toy maker Mattel of Barbie. Mm-hmm. She liked and trusted the then CEO, Jill Barand, and Mattel purchased American Girl for $700 million. So it was a pretty good investment. Rowland could step back from her third career as a toy mogul. She signed the papers and she said she stopped and looked around. She looked at all she built. She was kind of expecting to be like overwhelmed with sadness and loss, but no feelings really came. She drove home thinking like, what's wrong? Why don't I feel anything? And then she realized that she never really owned American Girl. She had been the steward, and she had given at her very best. I just got chills during the prime of her career, and it was time for someone else to take care of it. I'm going to cry. American Girl was a wonderful chapter of my life that is now closed, and on we go. And I think that's just so beautiful. Like, I think that's like almost like spooky that this like idea kind of like came through her and it came to be, and she's just like, it wasn't mine. It belonged to the girls everywhere.
That is very sweet.
And me, 38-year-old women.
I feel bad because when you were telling that story and you're like, and then she realized she couldn't feel anything. And it was because she had turned into a doll.
She looked in the rearview mirror of her car. It was a doll's face in the mirror. She looked at the hands on the steering wheel.
They were doll hands.
They were doll hands.
She peed herself, and that's when she knew she was a doll.
Drove off a cliff because her feet can't reach the pedals because she is 18 inches tall, not 3 feet.
She's like, I knew I should have made him 3 feet.
The sale of the company and its various publishing endeavors made Rowland wealthier than Louisa May Alcott, Mark Twain, Harper Lee, and Dr. Seuss combined.
Babe, that's borderline one of those facts where I'm like, I mean, I don't know what that means.
I mean, I'm not talking about them laying end to end on a football field.
I know,
I'm saying
but come
Dr.
on.
Dr. Seuss, she's more wealthy than Dr. Seuss.
Still, because I feel like he's one of those people that makes a lot of money and is deaf.
I'm just saying.
All right.
And while the focus is usually on the dolls, since 1986, the company has sold over 160 million books, outpacing the 36 million dolls sold by 3-1. So you think, oh, it's a doll company. It's actually a book company.
Apparently not. I hear they're not even on the drop down.
Well, I think a lot of those books might have been from like 1986 to 1996 because I probably bought like 8 million of them.
How many dolls have they made?
I mean, now it's hundreds.
This is one of those facts where you hear like every piece of plastic that's ever been made is still on the earth. Like there's 100 million of these dolls out there.
And they are also still on Earth.
Half of them are underground, clawing their way back to the surface.
Yes. I'm assuming it takes like an Annabelle or the boy. They're living in a wall somewhere. American Girls were inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame in 2021, which is a real honor.
That's great. And what a success story.
And they had, I didn't even mention it, but they had a magazine that was very important to my life. It was like about like, you know, how to navigate friendships and like decorate your room and like, you know, getting armpit hair and like things like that. It was about like puberty and growing up.
So you're saying one of the reasons we're such good friends is because you learned how to make this relationship work through the American Girl doll magazine?
I actually wrote a little, because they had an advice column. I wrote a little advice. I say, I want to start a podcast with my friend. How do I get him to agree to do it?
I met this guy. Listen, I'm going to be honest. He's complicated. How do I make it work?
He's nice to strangers.
Nicer to strangers than us. I mean, aren't we all? Like they say you're nicer to strangers than your family.
Yeah, that might be true.
You had said that you were going to do something that would tell me what doll I am.
Yes, I was just getting to that. So we're going to find out what doll you are. Okay, are you ready? John.
Yeah.
Which American Girl doll are you? First, enter your name. Jon.
Yeah.
Good start.
Date of birth, 1812.
Okay, I'm going to invite Al to take the quiz also.
Okay, so I'm now taking this quiz to find out what American Girl doll I am. The first question is, choose something you would do in your free time, write a poem or read a book, go shopping, go to the gym, go horseback riding, go to the movies, or go hiking. I'm going to say go to the movies because I don't think I go shopping in the way they're intending it.
I'm going to say I'm going to go hiking. What about you, Al?
Hiking or gym?
Oh, yeah, you do go to the gym quite a bit.
He's going to be the lesbian doll.
They did come out with one boy.
There you go.
Choose something to study. English, veterinary medicine, exercise science, history, economics, or environmental science. I'm going to say English.
I'm going to say history.
You get some extra money. What are you doing with it? Oh, I don't know if yours is going to be on here, Al or John. Buy jam, buy a new broom, Al says. John says limited edition Wicked merch.
I'll put it into savings.
I'll go out with friends. Somewhere to visit: Costa Rica, Alaska, France, Washington, D.C., England, New York City. I'd like to go to France.
I'd like to go to England.
Choose a band artist to listen to. Oh, Ariana Grande. I don't know who some of these people are. Taylor Swift is on there.
Taylor.
This is a good one. What's something you're passionate about?
Free speech, peace, workers' rights, the environment, ending poverty, or human rights.
McRib release schedule.
Okay. Human rights.
I'll say peace. Can't go wrong with peace. What about you, Al? You a poverty guy, or are you more about free speech? Okay, and then lastly, choose an aesthetic. So this is just, there's sunflowers, there's a cup of tea, there's this one's mine, little cottage in the countryside. Some roses, campsite, and some books on a shelf. This is the last question.
All right, I've picked. I'm waiting for you guys to finish.
Oh, I'm Molly. John's Molly too.
I'm Felicity Marion.
Okay, so this is me and John. We're talkative, talented, and feisty. We enjoy trying new things and are constantly looking for ways to reinvent ourselves. We're the kind of person who's always scheming and coming up with big plans for the future. That is true. Al, read about Felicity.
I'm like Felicity. I'm bold, independent, and unique. I have a fierce spirit, and I'm not afraid to tell people how I really feel. I'm not interested in fitting into a box or doing what's expected of you.
Well, that does track because we expect you to turn on hot water and leave it on until the shower is finished. But you are Felicity, and you cannot be fit in a box.
I think he is afraid to tell people how he feels.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess his future girlfriend who he meets through the pod will have to deal with him on that.
Tell me how you feel about me.
We should probably wrap up.
He's scared. You're right. Well, that's all I have for American Girl. This was, I'm sweating, I'm crying, I have chills. This was a beautiful, nostalgic fun roundabout for me, but after everything you've heard, Jon, is American Girl on brand for you?
I mean, that would mean that would I buy an American Girl doll? Would I go and have a sandwich? Would I subscribe to the magazine? Would I go to the Broadway show? No, none of it. So I have to say that it's not on brand for me, though I do respect the vision, the execution, and the philosophy of it.
And that window mirror thing really stuck with you.
It really did. I'll use that again in my own TED Talk.
I knew it would.
What about you? I mean, I think we know the answer. Is American Girl on brand for you?
American Girl is on brand for me, and I didn't really know what that meant until I saw the adult community, and now it's on brand for me in that it's connected to my past, and it's made me who I am today.
Is it a hard-on brand or a soft-on brand?
I don't think I can say that it's a hard on brand because my doll is in storage. And I feel like if it was a hard on brand, it would be like
in a display case.
In a display case. It'd be in lucite.
It would be in your cabinet of curiosities.
Exactly.
Trying to bang its way out.
Yeah, Annabelle. And it's not. So I think it would be dishonest to say it's hard on, but it is on. It is on because I got chills. I can't lie. It's on for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And now, of course, I'd like to give out our shout outs to the Insta Egg Freaks of the Week this week. This was for the Insta Egg for Thanksgiving sides. I got to say, a fun thing that happened in this. Apparently, stovetop stuffing has a Mandela effect for a lot of people. Like 80% of the people responded were 100% convinced it's Stouffer stovetop stuffing, and it's not. There's even things published about it that a lot of people think that used to exist and it doesn't anymore.
That is wild.
I know. So like, which is not fun for someone that has to reply to all these, because I had for like all of the day before Thanksgiving, I'm like, you're close, you're wrong on one. And they're like, oh, right. Like whatever. But it was fun. But
that's so funny.
So yeah, I was really surprised by that. I'm going to give a non-spinning wheel instant freak shout out to the one person who got the whole answer right. Like, because the answer was really the brand and the side dish. And most people just got the brand and I gave it to him anyway. But I want to give a shout out to Kate Loyce, who got it all right. She was the first person to do it. A couple people did it after, but she got one without having to go on the wheel. Then a shout out to Drew Keller, to Leah, and to Michael Sanducci, who got it right. And then Deborah, who got the spin on the story we did before we recorded. And if you don't know, just really quick, every Wednesday we do an Insta Egg on our Instagram story. It's a little puzzle that you can try to solve to be the freak of the week. And guess what the brand is going to be for the following day?
And while we're giving shout outs, I'll give some shout outs to some freaks who left us lovely reviews on Apple Podcasts. We have Miss CGC, who says, Jon is my spirit animal. She loves how you pronounce pamphlet. We have BO, loves these besties. JG, and JG, is it you? JG and CA? Oh my God.
I'm just writing my own review now.
You might be.
Jon's great. I don't want to see in his storage unit. Just keep doing what you're doing.
And Vicky Marlena says, great podcast, 5 stars, left us a lovely review. If you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do that. It really helps us out, and we screenshot it and text it to each other, and it makes our day. And if you want more of me and Jon, we got to be guests on the very funny podcast, Jordan Jesse Go, which is out this week. We had an amazing time. It was lots of fun and lots of laughs. So please head over to their podcast and give that a listen.
And you get to hear us be a little more rated PG-13, even a little rated R, maybe a little rated X.
Yeah, this one might not be one to have on in the car with the little ones.
Yeah.
Jon, really quick, ice capades. Fire off. Where'd you get ice this week?
We don't have time. The show's going too long. I'll do 2 real quick. I'll continue saying I can't go into the Taco Bell one, but Taco Bell, I found out they don't serve breakfast. We'll talk about it later. And then I did an ice capade at your very house just last night. I came in, ran in, and got some ice and left.
We'll be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand. Bye.
Find yourself looking for a new job or change in career? Monster.com is here to help. We are not only here to bring you job postings, but also AI interview prep and salary tools, expert career advice, and top-notch resume services. We've got everything you need to land your perfect job fit. Discover the magic of finding the ideal job with Monster.com. Your future starts now. Visit Monster.com today. Your next job opportunity is just a click away.